in this month's behind the scenes, we are going to play around with mini pumpkins again. And guess who we're going to be doing it with? No, she's not doing it herself. Ace is holding her. So this month we are going to recreate a little image I do every year. The first year I did it in 2020 with my eldest Ace, who is also going to be helping me today. And second and third year I did it with my younger daughter Hazel, and this year we have a new addition, so we're going to do it with Violet this year. So I buy mini pumpkins each year and we just create a photo holding them. So it's usually a cropped image of the kids just holding it with kind of a jumper, but this year we've got Violet doing it, and we are going to put them in between her legs. So we're going to do a bit different this year, because every year I've got the kids just in a little kind of orange jumper, but this year we're going to do it with Violet, and I don't have anything orange, so we're going to do something in yellow. But also this year we're going to add some fake leaves to the image, because I think it will create a bit more interest. And also I've kind of done the whole stacking pumpkins thing, and I kind of want to do something a little bit visually more pleasing. So we have these beautiful orange leaves that we decorate our fireplace with. So I'm just going to put them in the shot, use them in the foreground, and around Violet. And we're going to put, well, Violet is only 3 months, so she can't sit down properly, so we're going to get Ace to hold her like sitting down in a way that doesn't look like Ace is in the shot, because Ace will have their hands on Violet like this, and then we'll put the pumpkins in between Violet's legs and we'll see how it goes. But are you ready? Are you ready to go, Violet? Do you want to play with the pumpkins? You're not interested? So I just want to talk to you a bit about colour theory and how I'm going to approach this photo. I have actually done a video lesson on colour theory. You might have seen on the membership. I urge you to go watch it. It's really interesting if you don't know much about colour theory, so I'm not going to go too much into it now, but this really handy tool is on Canva. Again, I'll put this link into the video. It is amazing. It's really fun to play with, and you can use this every time you approach a photo shoot, if you're unsure about what colours to use, or what is going to complement, or what's going to clash, or whatever. So today we're obviously using warm colours like oranges and yellows, and this is because this is the warm end of the colour wheel. So if we go up here and just pick orange or yellow, this is obviously straight away is on the complementary, so you can see that complementary is on the opposite end, but we are using analogous colour scheme, and there's this really handy little tool down here. Go click analogous, and it will straight away tell you the colours that it will go with. So analogous is like 2 to 3, well, 3 or 4 kind of colours on the colour wheel that sit alongside it. So as you can see going round, it will show you the colours that will complement it, like so. So we are using orange and yellows, and so let's just put orange, right? Let's just find like that. So you can see we, Violet is going to be in yellow. It's kind of like a yellowy green, actually. Let's just move that over slightly. That's a bit better. And then we've got the orange of the blanket, and then, orange and yellow leaves, and also pops of red in the leaves as well. We all know it's a kind of autumnal kind of colour palette, but it's interesting to understand the theory behind it. When people see these colours together, they automatically look pleasing to the eye. And this is why, because there's this colour theory that tells us that, you know, they are, you know, great together. So I mean, you can see different colour combinations. Yeah, have a play with this. This is a lot of fun. But let's have a look. I think you can also put more. Aha, yeah, so this is putting like the shade in, so black, making it darker, and putting more whites in. So yeah, it's not just these kind of set colours. So have a little play. So for the purpose of today, I already kind of know the colours that we're going to be using, but you could find whatever colour you're using. You could literally get the hex number of it. I mean, you could take a photo of it and put it in and get the hex number from Photoshop, for instance. Or if you kind of know the hex colour, if you're kind of working with brands or whatever, you know, some people have a specific hex number for their brand, like I do for Wild Rose Photographers, and I can, you know, go on here and see what would complement it. So you could literally get the very specific colour palette. It's a great tool. To have a play and see what you can come up with. So I buy these little mini pumpkins every single year, and I actually buy them with their kind of stackability in mind. So I actually go to the supermarket because we haven't grown our own this year. Ours are still turning a bit orange. Hopefully they'll be ready by Halloween. But so I actually go to the supermarket and pick ones that haven't got stalks and ones that can actually stack on top without being all wobbly, because I think the first year I did it they didn't actually stack very well, or it was the second year. So yeah, I go in and stack them, make this one bigger, this one in the middle, and the little one on the top. So I actually picked this one to be a bit smaller than the ones I've done in the previous years, just because I knew Violet was going to be taking this photo. So hopefully this will be really good. I said I'm not expecting miracles with her being able to kind of hold them or anything, but we shall see how she kind of interacts with them, and hopefully we'll get something magical. I have these amazing leaves I got from Amazon. Actually, I can put a link in the store in the video. They're, you know, fake, but they're actually really beautiful. They were pretty good price actually. We do like collecting our own kind of leaves, but you know, they die, and they're a bit of a mission to kind of press and kind of, you know, keep them every year. So this just kind of adds lovely colour, and we put this on the fireplace, but also obviously use it for photo shoots. So this is just, I just love all the colours in this. I'm so excited. I haven't used the leaves actually in this kind of photograph that we've taken every year, so I'm interested actually to see kind of what it's going to add. And I know it's going to be brilliant, because you know, this is going to add some real kind of autumnal feel and layers and just so much colour. So it is going to be really fun to play with, and we'll see what Violet's going to be like with the leaves. I have a feeling she might play with them because they're really fun and really colourful, and babies just love stuff like this, don't they? So yeah. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about styling the photo shoot before I discussed about colour theory and how we're using an analogous colour scheme, which is mainly going to be the kind of yellows and oranges, because I've got these beautiful leaves and they range from, like, you know, quite dark reds all the way orange to like yellows and even some greens, but I think it's only tiny little bit of greens. I thought the best kind of outfit we could use is going to be yellow or red, and I've only got yellow stuff for her. We're going with yellow, and I think because we've got the lovely little orange kind of squashes, little mini pumpkins, I think yellow is going to be the best anyway, because if she was to wear red, then that might kind of still focus. So actually yellow is kind of like, it's going to blend in, and also we've got an orange blanket that's going to be the kind of backdrop. So I'm hoping this is all going to look really lovely together. And it's gonna, yeah, I think when you use a kind of analogous color scheme, by using all the different kind of colors, it will create more depth in your image and like add more kind of layers to it, as well as obviously we're going to be doing practical layers, like we're going to take photos with like this in the foreground, because why not? So yeah, this is a little bit short on her, bless her, but I think it will work and her little feet will be poking out. And I'm only going to be doing pictures of her feet anyway, and we'll see. We're going to put these between her legs and hopefully she'll be able to hold them maybe. But yeah, we shall get her dressed and we'll put up the set and hopefully it will all start coming together. So just looking at the weather, the weather's overcast today, and that's ideal for kind of taking photos of using my patio doors, because it just acts like a softbox. I say this in most of my videos when I'm using kind of window light. If you have any window, if you've got really harsh light coming in from the sun, it can create really harsh shadows. But a day like today, just completely overcast, and with the sun that's come round in the afternoon, again, it will just light up the white and just make it beautiful and soft. Sometimes if it's a bit harsh, it can create quite dramatic lighting. But yeah, dull days are still quite fun for taking photos. So yeah, I'm gonna go set up downstairs and get Violet in the scene, get Ace to help me, and hopefully it all come together. So a little bit about my kind of process about how I set things up, and I use very minimal equipment. I like to just use my window light. I like to use just things I've got around the house, really, like chairs. I don't have stands. I should invest in some, really, but I just think sometimes I kind of like to work with what I've got. And I just love the challenge of creating with just everything that I've got. So just to kind of teach other people that you don't need like expensive equipment, you don't need much to be creative. You've just got to just play around. So as you can see, I'm just setting up with my blanket that's on one of my sofas. I'll just place it over my chair. I'll use the light from the window, afternoon light, and I'm just going to place the leaves in the scene. And it's just so simple, and you know, just mixed with a baby and, you know, little mini pumpkins, it can just create just a really stunning little shot. So I do like to shoot quite shallow. I think sometimes it is a bit of my downfall because there's so much more you can do with different apertures, but I think I'm just in a bit of a habit of shooting at 1.4, sometimes 1.8, 1.6. But yeah, I just love the kind of fall off and the depth of field. You know, it's hard on a kind of really sunny day, but inside 1.4 is pretty good. So I just know like the kind of baby toes and the colours and the styling is just going to work really well together, and just hoping Violet plays for long enough. It is really useful having my 12-year-old, nearly 13-year-old help me, because trying to do a shot like this on your own is just really difficult. So if you have family members, don't be afraid to ask them to help you, no matter how old they are, really. You know, Ace is a bit older, so it is a bit easier to ask them to help me with the baby. You know, I've got a 3, nearly 4-year-old, and she wouldn't be as much help in this kind of instance. But I remember photographing Hazel when she was little, and she wasn't sitting up, and it's just that kind of in between stage where they're almost sitting up, but not quite, and they want to be sat up. They don't want to be laying down. But yeah, this kind of image, I really needed her to be sat up, because I just couldn't figure out how to create this image like similar to the years before I've done it with my other kids. So I just thought, okay, she needs to be set up, but the only way that I could sit her up would be in like a little bouncer or a bumbo seat, and I just thought that would kind of ruin the image. So yeah, having Ace on hands was ideal. So we've got Violet here and Ace underneath the table, just holding her up. So we've, as I said before, we've got the beautiful window light coming from here. There's a bit more light this side, but it's quite dark and it's going to be quite dramatic. But she's beautifully lit. She's just been sick. And so I've got quite a few images on the camera anyway, and she's just thrown up on all the pumpkins. Gross. But yeah, so this is kind of creating really beautiful kind of depth of field by me holding the camera quite close. And yeah, there's lovely layering going on. She keeps knocking over the pumpkins and being sick. But she's a really good little model. And I've got a good little helper.
Wow.
Not so little. But yeah, I think I've got a shot. But yeah, it's a really great sensory experience actually. The kids love playing with mini pumpkins. And they're really cheap. Or you could just grow your own. You want to play with them?
Pumpkin. Please.
So I thought I would talk you through start to finish from my raw image I have chosen, and I want to show you how I edit to get kind of my look. So I usually put this into Lightroom, but today I've put it into Photoshop for you. I have already edited this image, but I'm just going to show you kind of what I did. This is my favourite one I've picked. I just love her little feet. I love the pumpkin stacked, and I love the kind of the framing of the leaves. So I did think I might have to edit a little bit because Ace was holding Violet, and I thought, oh gosh, if you can't really tell when you're actually photographing if sometimes there might be something you have to do in post-processing, but actually this one turned out really well. You can't really see her, and yeah, I did think I was going to have to do a bit of editing job with adding more leaves in, but this one turned out perfect. So I even love this kind of little bit of kind of foreground interest as well, so that was quite nice. So what I usually start with in Lightroom, I can also do it in Photoshop, is I start with a preset. I love the small presets. If you go onto the Soulmate website, you can have a little look at them while I'm kind of working on my own presets. These are just kind of my go-to, and I usually always use number one. This actually looks really contrasty in here. I haven't actually figured out why, but in Lightroom it's not so contrasty. So if I do put this image in Photoshop, a raw image, then I usually have to kind of tone down the contrast. So I put this one in, and then I'll go back to the main kind of panel in Camera Raw filter. I always love doing Camera Raw filter anyway, even after I've exported from Lightroom, just because I just find the tweaking really fun and really easy to do. So yeah, I'll just kind of go do some tweaking, bring the contrast back, and I'll just warm it up a little bit because I think it was a little bit cold. And yes, what I will do is, the whites are actually okay, but I will usually put the whites down a little bit. As you saw, the light was coming in this way and it was kind of really bright this side. Her little hand there is quite bright. I could actually put a brush on it to bring it down a bit, because it's just shining a little bit. So and then yeah, I will bring up the vibrancy just a little bit, just a little bit there. I often get rid of the clipped bits. This I don't think I can get rid of unless I edited and put a leaf in there. So for now, I'm not going to get rid of it. So usually I'll go into curves and then bring this up. But as you can see, it's going up so much that it's just completely blown out, which, you know, I don't mind for creative purposes. But I just think, yeah, the blacks, bringing them up would just be too much. So I'm just going to leave that for today. And we'll just get working with it in main Photoshop. But that's kind of showed a bit before and after. So that's, yeah, before and after. It is still quite contrasty, actually. I'm just going to have a bring. There we go. That's a bit better. Yeah, it just makes it really black for some reason in the preset. So yeah, it's looking good. Right, let's open it up. So the first thing I always do is I always create a new layer. I like to do kind of non-destructive editing as much as I can. By that I mean you create new layers and edit them so that when you come back to the work, you can just work on those layers. And if you just work on the background layer all the time, just imagine it as like a painting, for instance. If you work on a painting, then you're going to just keep editing the same painting. But if you create layers, it's like you're creating different layers. That doesn't make any sense, I suppose. You're just putting more things on top of the painting, so you're only going to be doing like that separate layer. So it just makes it non-destructive, and it means you can come back, and if you make a mistake, you can just you can get rid of it. So I always like to start by getting rid of any blemishes or little bits I don't really like. So these pumpkins are knobbly, but I'll just get rid of a few little knobbles, like so. Just a few scratches on them. I'm not sure where they came from. But actually, it's overall, it was pretty good. Get a bit rid of fluff, like so. Yeah, I like it. And then I will go into colour balance. I really like colour balance because it kind of gives me my kind of look that I like. You can really go into the shadows, and depending on the kind of colours that you like for your own work, you can just introduce certain colours. So like I quite like introducing kind of cyans and reds. I mean, this one's a warmer image, so I do kind of like to play on that. And if you really look into the shadows here, they are quite blue. So if you just add a bit more warmth, sometimes you have to do it quite minimal, because otherwise it's just too much. And then I like to add sometimes a bit more warmth. Yes, if you do yellow, it's kind of really punchy. Blue just makes it more contrasty, so I think I'll do a little bit of yellow, not too much. You can always look at before and after, just for subtle. And then highlights, because my preset does tend to make it quite red, so I like to just put a bit more kind of colder in. And yeah, you can go around and, you know, just using, because it is a mask, you can just take off and put on where you like. And yeah, mid-tones, there's quite a lot of pink already, so I'm just going to put a bit of green in, just subtle. And then I like to use curves. And I tend to just warm it up ever so slightly. This is just kind of like colour grading almost, and I just like to bring down some warmth. Not too much because it can be quite yellow, but I like to just make it a little bit warmer. And sometimes I'll bring the green down as well, just a little bit more red, but again, not too much, because I do know that my images can tend to be quite magenta, so yeah, I like that. And then I'll probably just go into the yellows, just because it's quite light up here. I think I want to work a little bit on the yellow, and this is handy, this bit, so if you're not sure what colour it is, because believe it or not, some colours look like colours and they're not, so that's yellow. I think this will turn out red. See this bit here, you think it was yellow, but it's actually red. But yeah, I'm looking to work on the yellows, and I just want to take down so this yellow bit here, I just want to take down a little bit, and kind of up the saturation a tiny bit. I could probably, you know, I could work on the raw filter layer again and just bring this down in the raw filter. I think sometimes it can be it's almost distracting having it quite light, in my opinion. So I would just come in here and go to the brush and go over here and just brush on. And again, you can do this in the main panel. I just like to do it in Camera Raw. And then you can just go down here and just bring it down. Got my little one fussy. I like to play around with the temperature as well, just a little bit, because I find when you kind of drag the kind of exposure down, then it makes it like underexposed and kind of cold. So by kind of upping the exposure, it's a bit better. There we go. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this edit. I over tweak all the time, and I like to dodge and burn little bits. So like these little highlight bits, I would just probably go to the dodge tool and just, you know, brighten those up a tiny bit, just because I like to make kind of window portraits have a little bit more kind of like a kind of dramatic feel. So yeah, by using kind of dodge and burn, you can just like brighten up patches and darken patches just to make it overall quite pretty. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think this definitely worked really well, having the leaves and everything. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how it all turned out. And yeah, Violet loved it. Violet really loved having a little play with the pumpkins, so it won't be the last time she plays with them. But anyway, hope you enjoyed that behind the scenes. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I shall see you next month.